I want to hear where everyone's from and your name. I don't know. I feel like everybody is familiar with each other here right now, but I want to just start sharing that so people who rewatch the recordings are aware that we're not all in one neighborhood. We don't know each other face to face, and that this is like a collective of people that are from all over the world, all over the country, coming together in the same age group, excited to learn about the human body, holistic solutions for everything under the sun, building our medicine cabinet in a natural, holistic way. And we're all here to be curious and learn. And I just want to hear everybody's name and where you're from. I'm
I'll
Gemma.
start it.
I'm
No,
Gemma
go ahead. Go
from
ahead.
Texas, to Houston, Texas. Go ahead, Michael.
It's beautiful. My name is Michael Jeffrey, and I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Uh, my name's Keegan Nesbitt, and I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Bro, Niara, you're on this? My name's Shelby, and I'm from, or I'm living in San Marcos, Texas.
My name is Niara, and I'm also living in San Marcos, Texas.
That's awesome.
Hold
I'm Evie. I'm from Washington State.
Alex.
Sorry, I'm trying to park. I'm Alex, and I'm from Fort Worth, Texas.
We always find you in the most precarious situations, Alex. It's so funny. The
And I
6:30 window.
I
and I totally forgot that Meyer was just in Northern.
Yeah,
Uh, I totally forgot about that, but I was just so excited to share because never thought like a store like that, which is kind of like a low quality
mm,
store, would sell raw cheese. I was like,
that's pretty sweet.
yeah, I was.
I thought it was like Fred Meyer and you were just not saying the first part of it. And I was watching the video with my sister. I was like, no way he's just saying the last part because Fred Meyer's is a store out in the Northwest. And that's like a regular commodity everyday store. And I thought
Yeah,
that's what you were
facts.
talking about.
I was just there. I was just at a Fred Meyer for the first time.
Really?
Straight up, I'm telling you.
Favorite. I love
All
it.
right, let's get into this topic. We got
Yes.
some stuff we get to unlock today. All right, we're gonna go over. Well, first of all, thanks for joining everybody. It's great to have everybody here. We're recording this, so if you're watching this, hello to you as well, and we're glad you're watching. This month is really cool. If y'all don't know, but this whole month we're going to go over a topic that we think is really important, and that is circadian rhythm. Um, so we're going to go over food patterns today. We're going to go over food, digestion, and all that stuff. Anything that relates to the circadian rhythm. So number one is food. Then we're going to go over like actually like sleep setup and like how to get good sleep because sleep affects circadian rhythm. The third week we're going to talk about adrenal glands and how caffeine and adrenal glands and just all these other things are affecting you. So and everyone has a battery. It's really interesting. And then the fourth week we're going to talk about how movement can affect your circadian rhythm. But each of these 4 weeks of February we're going to be kind of discussing um, like why circadian rhythm is important, what it is, what it does for you, all the good stuff. And so this is the first week of a 4 week kind of series. And so you guys can watch the playbacks if you miss a week or something. But each of these, we're going to try and add as much value as possible with food and then with sleep setup, adrenal glands, caffeine, and then also movement. And so should be all of these should be practically or should be practical steps for you to be able to like change and do things and like have more energy and just live a better life in general holistically. So thank you all for coming. Gemma is like crazy knowledgeable on this topic of food. And so Gemma, I'm gonna give you the mic.
Thank you. Beautiful intro. I'm so excited for the themes and the topics of every month. It's going to be so incredible. Like to have total focus on specific topics so you guys can walk away with like real tangible food to apply to your lives. And if something resonates, you're like, oh, this is my thing. This is the missing link. And you get to up level your life. Frankie, welcome. Frankie,
Hello, sorry I'm late. I was at the
tell,
slopes with my
tell
buddy
us
the Spears.
Hey, tell us where you're from and your name.
My name is Pierce, and I'm from Boise, also. Yeah.
Frankie from Boise. Okay, awesome.
Yep.
All right, we're talking about circadian rhythm and how food will affect your circadian rhythm. How so you can deeply rest when it's time to rest and close your eyes and let your body recharge. I have 10 points and I'm going to run through them quite fast. If there's something you guys want me to revisit, I'm happy to. But this is something I talk about like on a daily basis, so it may be really quick for me. And if I need to slow down, please tell me, okay? So, point number one, starting the day with protein is like the bedrock of any wellness routine. Why though? Why is it so important? To get the heavy work out of the way, it takes about 6 hours to break down protein specifically as a food group. The high cortisol state that wakes you up in the morning gets gets you moving, it will support the digestion of the meat. Meat is a very complex type of food for us to digest, but it's incredibly nutritious and it basically has all of the nutrients and vitamins that your body needs. And every day, when we start our morning with that, so I recommend a 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. window of eating your protein to take care of your body's protein needs, but also to provide you the largest amount of time during the day where you're up and you're moving for your body to digest all the protein that you need so that it doesn't begin to ferment overnight if you eat your protein too late. That's going to come in a later point, and I'll touch on that a little bit deeper. Finish the day, point number two, finish the day with carb-rich foods. That's your rice, your potatoes, your fruits. Veggies too are great, and veggies you can eat throughout the day. This will help naturally trend your body to calm down. And this is where we get the statement of a carb coma. It's a natural human phenomenon that our body will always go into, and it's a healthy thing when we are actually putting this in the time of day where it's good for our body to calm down. We wouldn't want to be having a carb coma at 7 a.m. It's okay if it's happening at 6, 7 p.m. Um, and so this is why I recommend have your big fruit bowl, have your rice bowl, whatever, in the evening, in the afternoon, after you finished your protein intake, so that way your body can truly calm down and begin its rest preparation as part of your evening routine. And it also tends to be super yummy to eat all of your carbs in the evening. I find, and all my girlfriends find, like just to eat all of the carby foods. It's really easy. Okay, point number three, finish all food 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. So if your bedtime's 9 p.m., you're finishing your food at 5 o'clock. If your bedtime's 10 p.m., it's going to be like 6 o'clock. But honor that system so that your body is not cooking food when it's supposed to be sleeping. Okay. And all beverages, that includes water, that includes tea, an hour to 2 hours before bedtime. I know this is going to be challenging, but it's going to improve your actual body's ability to circulate all the fluids before you actually fall asleep. You should be going number one and number two before you go to bed and not waking up at night to have to go to the bathroom because that's disrupting your sleep cycle and the depth of sleep you're actually able to enter into when your body still has to digest food or process liquid. It stays up to take care of those things because it doesn't want those just sitting in your body. Do not eat while you're drinking and do not drink while you're eating. Keep those states totally separate. You are disturbing your healthy bile production and confusing the digestive process. So chew slower and allow the saliva to build up. Honor the systems that are supposed to function separately. I know this is so anti-cultural. What is that? Countercultural is the thing people often say because everybody has a glass at any restaurant sitting at their table. Everybody asks, what do you want to drink first right before your meal? It's so part of our culture to be drinking and eating at the same time, but we're diluting our bile. That is the golden juice that actually digests every single piece of food that you put into your mouth. And when we're drinking water with that, it's diluting that digestive process and it's not actually delivering the nutrients that we need to be extracted while we're digesting. So chew slower and allow the saliva to build up. And if your food is really dry, that means you're not chewing for long enough. Okay, number 4, the benefits of those 3 things I just listed. You're not going to bed on a full stomach, full of food that will be fermenting, that would otherwise cause gasiness, bloating, and gut permeability. That's if you're continuing these patterns over a long time, eating really late right before bed, drinking really late right before bed, eating and drinking at the same time, you're causing things like bloating, gut permeability, I mean, a plethora of other issues. But this is what we're preventing when we're honoring these systems. The body runs on a clock that naturally allows every respective organ to detox and totally rest. To support this, we can eat and drink in order to support that clock. Okay? It's a really simple system, and the body is made in such a masterful, genius way that if we learn the ways to honor it, it will honor us in return, and we will be healthy, high-performing human beings. Okay? Number 5, ensure you have sufficient magnesium intake daily to support muscle and tissue repair. That happens overnight. And melatonin production, which begins at sunset. Okay, that's just magnesium. Every single human being on the planet is basically deficient in it unless you're spending an hour in the ocean or you're taking 400 milligrams or more daily through a supplement. If you are taking that, at least 4 forms of it, which is like doTERRA's electrolyte packet, or you can get a supplement online. You need 4 forms of magnesium daily, 400 milligrams of it daily. If you're not getting that in, check that before you're trying any other kind of sleep supplement, okay? It's an essential nutrient to the human body, and it'll help you sleep so much. I can't even tell you how much better my sleep and the states of sleep that I actually enter into. Often people will start dreaming, actually going into dreams at night when they have enough magnesium in their body. Number 6, get into sunlight no matter what the weather for 20 minutes minimum within the first hour of waking up. This will signal the body's master clock that the day has begun, and sequentially, it will begin production of melatonin at sunset. Melatonin is what knocks your body out at night. It's what makes you fall asleep. And this is the master design. There's sunlight, it hits your photoreceptor cells in your body, and it triggers the pineal gland to actually start producing hormones to wake your body up. And literally 12 hours later, it's going to tell melatonin to start producing and calm you down and make you fall asleep. So literally just go out and get some sunlight for 20 minutes. If that's the one thing you take away from this, your sleep will be tremendously better. Okay. Number 7, when we use blue lights and bright lights overhead, we hijack the master clock of the body and corrupt its natural healing cycle. So, and this, I don't mean this for all times of day, I mean this after sunset. There's a reason the sun sets at a certain time of day. And when we are violating that with LED lights or bright overhead lights or lights of our phone, we are corrupting the natural design. And I think we need to take that with a massive weight, like a burden, like feel that. We're responsible for the way that we're treating our body. And this is one of the huge ways that we absentmindedly are always corrupting and hijacking that process. Number 8, our exposure to light cues more than just melatonin production by the pineal gland. It also impacts our ability to completely digest food, compounds, to bond with loved ones, to feel safe when it's time to digest food, and to build muscle, and to learn and regulate our nervous system. So that is just our exposure to light during the daytime, to sunlight, and our exposure to like the moonlight or the starlight at night, as opposed to bright lights like LED lights that we usually have in our homes. So it codes way more than just, oh, I can fall asleep at a good time. It goes way, way, way deeper than that. And we'll dive into deeper and deeper layers of this month and in future months. But that's just the surface layer. Number 9, we're coming to a close here, guys. Although this is about regulating the circadian rhythm through food, there's no way to separate the human from all the elements in our environment, from food to light, to dark, to humans, to breathing patterns, even down to the clothes we're wearing. All the elements create an orchestra. The purity, the value, the quality, and the information of those elements, they're going to determine the beauty of your wellness symphony and the health of your sleeping patterns, just because that's what we're talking about this month. But it's so much more. Everything in your environment is going to affect you and how you sleep, how you recover, how you build muscle, all of it. Number 10, last one. This is just one profound element that will ripple and affect the musical note of all the other elements that you were coded by. And you can code this every single day. So the music that comes from you as an individual can change if you choose to change one single element, whether it's your sleep, whether it's your food, whether it's your clothing. And if you take anything from any of these, I would love to hear how your guys' sleep changes or your health changes over time. That's all I have for you guys.
That was really good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out a couple of thoughts real quick. You did a really good job of explaining, and then maybe we can talk about it for a second together.
Yes.
But I think one of the main things, and those were all really good, and I learned a lot. Even the going to bed, eating before bed is something I really struggle with because I'm just go go go, and then it's oh I gotta eat, and then it's oh shoot I gotta go to bed too though. But like you said, anytime you're eating, your body is processing information. Anytime you put anything in or on your body, it's information your body has to process. So if you're putting this information in at 8 p.m. and you're going to bed at 9, or even if you're eating at 10, you want to go to bed at 11 or something, that's information that your body needs to digest and process. If you don't process it early enough, your body's going to be, you're going to be laying down trying to sleep, and your body's going to be just processing all that information. And so I think it's really important. I'm going to talk about sourcing in a second. But since today's mainly on food, we'll keep it on track. And the other 3 days, we'll really go in depth on the other things we talked about. But the whole goal of this eating good and of all these topics is to produce just quality, good energy. There's a reason why circadian rhythm and all this stuff is so important. It's to create good energy. I wrote this down from this book I'm reading, and it just said you can and should feel incredible mentally and physically, majority of the time. We should feel amazing majority of the time as people, and unfortunately, that's not the case for a lot of people. A lot of people are kind of gloomy, kind of just walking around very tired, and stuff like that, and just maybe not using full capacity, or maximizing their full effort. And it's because of certain things like this, messed up internal clocks and circadian rhythm. So if we can minimize oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, and chronic inflammation, that will change a lot. But it kind of all starts with diet. Food and lifestyle changes is that in a summary, food and lifestyle changes. So to go on another note for food, sourcing is really important. And so, yes, you need to eat at an earlier time if you can before you go to bed, but also where you're getting your food is really important. And we've done a topic on this before. We've done a couple, but I think where you're getting your food from is vital. And so I think we linked at a past time. I think we linked an app where you could find farmers markets in your area. But wherever you go, wherever you're traveling, or even if you're just home, if you can, I always recommend try and find a farmer's market. There's so much less, little to none pesticides on the fruits and vegetables and the food you can get, and the people you can meet. You can kind of go direct to farmers. So if you can, I always recommend doing farmers markets. In the winter months, it can be harder sometimes, and I think there's a lot of good places like Trader Joe's and Texas. I think Sprouts is really good. Even Aldi. There's a lot of good alternatives. Right now, normally I'll just be doing Trader Joe's until the weather gets better, and I'm normally at farmers markets. But if you can figure out a way to source your food, finding raw dairy, grass-fed meat, and then fruits and vegetables that aren't sprayed with pesticides, even fruits and vegetables that are covered. I know bananas are a lot better than for say an apple, because the apples are just loaded with a film of pesticides and stuff. So it's little things like that you can do. But if y'all, I think really the best way to start is finding a farmer's market, or just finding yeah, finding someone where you can buy meat locally, or dairy locally, and there's people everywhere. You kind of just have to take the extra step, and that's just kind of the world we live in today. But if you take those steps and you're eating the right food, and then you're eating it at the right times and feeding your body the right information, then you will be able to help. Uh, I mean, you'll be producing good energy instead of bad energy. So that's like cutting out, fast food. Seed oils are in almost everything nowadays, and so like really, it takes an effort to like make food at home, but that's just the cost you're going to pay for it now with cooking and making good meals, or you'll pay for it later. And so at the doctor, and that's just a reality because of the junk that's in this food, especially with the inflammatory oils. It literally just cause inflammation in our bodies. And so, yeah, I just encourage y'all to try it out and just start cooking your own stuff. And um, yeah, I think that was pretty much all I had. But I don't know if you have anything more, Gemma. But yeah, guys.
Yeah, so good. I love all those are really good key points. I would say a rule of thumb to go by if you walk into a grocery store, a farmer's market, or whatever, people are offering goods all the time. Rule of thumb, if it doesn't come from nature, it doesn't belong in your body. If you're looking at a box, any kind of packaging, and it has more than just ingredients you can pronounce, recognize as like literally from a kid's storybook. If a child can't pronounce it, it probably shouldn't go inside your body or on your body, much less. Um, there's things like supplements that we're taking. Like I said, magnesium earlier, there's three forms of it. Yes, they're complicated to say, but there's four forms of it that go internally that you can take through a powder or a drink. But there's like 17 or something more, like more than 15, okay, that you can absorb through your skin. That's another form of something that you can be, but it's available through the ocean. So like the ocean comes from nature. You can go dip into it. Um, a pool, most likely are going to be absorbing completely chlorine, and your body will be filled with it after a visit to a pool. So like if it doesn't come from nature, don't bring it close to your body and be very picky. Like you get this one once. You only get this body once. So the value of us investing into things that are going to produce good energy, not bad energy, is
Yeah.
so tremendous. Like it's so beautiful. And we
Yeah.
get to learn how to take care of it better every week with Wellness Mavericks. It's so cool.
So that's huge. I love it. So, okay, we can go around and talk real quick. I'll start us off real quick, but I want to ask y'all. There we go. Keegan's already got it going on right now. Let's go. I'm gonna ask y'all. It's still light out here yet, so I got an excuse.
Like
So I don't know if y'all took notes or wrote stuff down, but even if you like had something that came to your mind that you just remember, what's one thing? There was 10 things Gemma listed. I'm sure we can all think of like one thing that we can do better. And so I'm gonna go around and ask y'all like, what's one thing that you just heard that you're like, whoa, like maybe I didn't know that, or maybe I knew that either way, and I wanted to do better at it. So I'll start it real quick, just like a simple, um, just like something you're gonna work on. For me, the 3 to 4 hours before sleep was huge, or the eating 3 to 4 hours before sleeping. That's really hard, and so that's something I'm gonna be working on a lot more. And even the eating and drinking separately, that's unreal. I've heard that, but I didn't actually know that.
huge.
And it's just wild. So I'm definitely gonna be working on those. But yeah, let me know what y'all's are. I'd love to hear what y'all think.
I definitely have to work on the eating aspect. I I love to eat, especially like I this is a bad habit, but like when I get bored, I bored eat. I love eating, but earlier, like about an hour ago, I had like a whole pound of ground beef, and I didn't know that eating protein like from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. is more beneficial.
Uh-huh.
So that's good to know. So I'll definitely start doing that like in my day and start eating carbs later at night.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool and
It's
something I
so
need to work on.
interesting. That actually came from a lady who she was a dietitian she ran the clinic until she was 100 years old. And that's like the core of what she prescribed. was ordered eating, like fix your eating patterns in your day. And a lot of people's digestive stomach internal issues would correct themselves. Is just the 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. protein, 3 p.m. to whenever you want to finish your food with carbs. And then she also did prescribe that eating, like don't eat 2 hours before bedtime. But there's more research to support the 4 hours before bedtime that are just so much more beneficial. And if even if you just start with something like 4 hours before bedtime, all food, and then eventually work your protein back with time, you don't have to overhaul everything at once. Notice how you feel the next day. Start with noticing how you feel the next day, and you'll be amazed. Anyone else have reflections or things you guys noticed that you were like, oh, I don't do that?
Yeah, I would probably say I really like what you're talking about the circadian rhythm. Um, Something I've been trying to do recently is like go for sunset walks, like take time out of your day just to be a human being and not have to like take a break from being a human being and just be a human being and go for a sunset walk and really enjoy that. And then also like with your circadian rhythm, but then I have to study. And so that's like kind of defeats the purpose. But I also like what you're saying about just kind of giving your body like 3 hours to kind of like rest and digest before you go to bed. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Also, my phone died. That's why I left.
So good. I love it. That was really good.
Yeah, memory and study blocks can even improve when you get your digestion on on a regimen, and then your sleep improves. Obviously, sleep improving, everything else improves. Memory improves, muscle repair improves, circulation improves. Like you become more mentally alert and you have more energy to actually study or do the work that you're supposed to do during the day. Food is fuel. It's so good. It's my favorite topic.
Luke, what you got, bro?
I would say like not eating right before bed. I do that all the time. Like I'm always snacking on things. Like my mom bought like I just moved to Florida, so I'm finally down here. But my mom bought me a bunch of
Congrats.
like peanut butter crackers and stuff, and I realized like the whole last week I would eat like them like right before I'd go to bed, and I sleep horrible. So like that's probably the reason. Um,
Yeah.
I guess one thing that I've been doing lately though, since I'm here, is I wake up and like the sun is out. I'm finally somewhere where there's sunshine, which is nice. So I've been going out in the sun in the middle or in the morning, and I've definitely noticed a difference in energy levels. So that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So cool, bro. Dude, I love it. Hey, by the way, for y'all that don't know, Luke moved to Florida from Michigan, and he's been
Finally.
talking about it for like over a year to
It's like
me.
2 years I was
Yeah, he's been talking about
planning
it for a
to.
while. And I was
That's
like, bro, let's go. Like, you got to do it, man. And he did it. So congrats, bro. That's
Thank
huge.
you.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks for sharing, bro. That's awesome.
That's so happy. I love that. And the sunlight thing, yes, it's so valuable in the morning, 20 minutes in the first hour, because it's the sunlight in the morning. But it's going to code you the most also through the middle of the day, where it's the brightest. Like your body recognize middle of the day sunlight in the same way that it recognizes morning sunlight. And it does increase in the UV rays by middle of the day. So that's going to have a different powerful effect on your body. Your body always needs, there's no cap to sunlight. Like, embrace it.
Yeah, take your time and type that. We'll be here.
Yeah,
Ev,
yeah.
you want to share?
Yeah.
Wait, she said, I'll read it for you guys. Type mine because I'm on the bus and connection is spotty, but protein for breakfast, veggies throughout, and carbs for dinner, 4 hours before bed. So good. Two, our bodies sleep better when not working to digest. So make sure you use the restroom before bed. It's so important to like, I know everybody does this, but waking up to go to the restroom in the middle of the night is like the worst thing you could do to yourself. Try to figure out ways to take care of that. And it's possible to sleep through the night. 3, turn off all the lights. Yes, LOL. 4, magnesium, magnesium, that mineral. Yes, you need it. I promise you, you need it. If you buy anything from doTERRA, buy the recharge packets. They have all 4 forms of magnesium and it's perfect. You just drink it with your water and it takes care of everything. Okay. I think
Sure.
I got into the habit of bored, anxious snacking and noticed it because I'm not really a snacker in general. Yeah. Yeah. I think at some point we have to talk about fasting because that's something else I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
Not only does it have immense benefits on your health, it's also so spiritually supportive. It helps dial in on why are you snacking? Why do you need extra information? Are you actually lacking? You start to ask yourself really deep.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just did one. I did one like 2 weeks ago, and it was very it was very good. It was really hard. They're all hard because I love food, but fasting. We should definitely talk about that at some point.
We gotta.
Have you got anything?
Yeah, I'm hopping on everyone's train of eating late and drinking tea. That's crazy that I can't drink tea before bed. That's actually
Like
wild.
an hour to 2 before bed is
Yeah.
fun. Like I know Russians are tea drinkers. We're terrible.
Yeah.
But
We
we
are
also
tea
have like
drinkers.
terrible water
Russian.
retention issues and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it can be
So like no water too, or like what?
well an hour before bed
Hour. Which that's valid. I do that anyways.
minimum.
Yeah, I did not mean that.
It's hard, but minimum an hour. But tea before bed also, it's not a food, but I was gonna say it's a form of information that comes from food, whether it's herbal tea or whatever. Incredible as a portion of your bed routine, whether it's chamomile tea or whatever. Be careful of caffeine teas. Caffeinated teas. We'll talk about caffeine in a future week, but caffeinated anything after 3 p.m. will affect your ability to fall asleep. Whether you say, oh, caffeine doesn't bother me, like whatever, it does. And you're trying to hijack a system that you didn't design. And I think it's funny that we try to outsmart the creator by drinking caffeine so late. So yeah,
Factual.
watch the teas that you're drinking. It's so important. But also, yeah, tea is great as part of a bedtime routine, but at least an hour before bed, stop drinking.
Kaylin, do you want to share? Did I say? I hope I said that right. Is it Kaylin? Kaylin, would you like to share? We'd love to hear from you if you want.
I actually think she's on a motorcycle right
If you're busy, that's fine too. Don't pull out your phone on
now.
the motorcycle.
She's not going to answer.
Okay, well, I think that sums it up then. This was kind of like a simple one. Like we said, today was just on food. The whole thing is based on circadian rhythm. And so next week we're going to talk about like a sleep setup, like a red light setup, like we're going to talk about mouth tape, we're going to talk about oils, we're talking about like the best like sleep setup. We talked about food, so this is like leading up to it. And then we're going to not eat right before we go to bed. Now we're going to talk about actually like sleeping routine. The week after, we're going to talk about adrenal glands. It's like a battery in our body that's very important. We must protect it at all costs. It's going to be crazy. We're going to have a speaker come on. Like it's almost like 90% sure he's going to come on. And then, but he's like helped train people do Ironmans before. He's a really cool guy. I'm pretty sure he's like Swiss. Either way, really cool guy. Really, really cool European guy. He's going to come on week 3. It's going to be crazy. He's going to talk about adrenal glands and the effects of caffeine. It's going to be wild. Week 4, we're going to talk about movement. And so, yeah, this is part 1 of 4 for the month of February. So I hope y'all like learned something, and thank you guys for coming. We're so happy to have y'all every week, and we hope that you learned something. And yeah,
I want to be hearing feedback by next week about you guys implementing these.
Yeah.
And if not this week, like let's have these things build on because we're having an theme. Like let's see how your guys' sleep is at the end of this month.
Yeah. I
So
like that. We should do that. I'm gonna write that down in a second. We should do that.
yeah, that'd be
Okay. Cool. All right. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for coming on, everybody. You guys have a blessed day.
so good to
Bye,
see
y'all.
y'all.
Evie,
Take care.
Evie,
Yes.
I applied to YWAM.
Yo, let's go.
I submitted my application